Hey, this is day 5, I think. Is it day 5? Possibly. I can't remember. I think it is day 5. Today, I don't know how I feel. It's one of those. I cried for the first time this morning for a bit. That's the first time since last week I cried. I woke up pretty early because I took Patrick to school, so I was up and out and about by 8:30. But I just felt, that's the only way to describe it. And normally when I get that feeling, I'll go and try and do something to preoccupy myself, or I'll throw myself into my work, or I'll start cleaning the house. But for some reason today, I just wanted to rest up. I just wanted to lay in bed. I just wanted to watch Thrash TV. But I was a little bit proactive while I was doing that, because I was like, we've got the big Tesco shop, the big monthly Tesco shop coming up. So I made out a list and a meal plan for next month while I was sort of not up and about, not active. I think the best way to describe when I'm feeling like this, it's sort of like a floaty, numb feeling, and it's like you're sort of hovering above yourself, just watching yourself going through the motions, doing stuff. There is something I want to address, and I hope by addressing this that if anybody is feeling this way, then please either drop me a message or drop any of your support network a message, or even talk to someone. I've struggled with my business the past couple of weeks. I've struggled with a few things, and yes, it's been because I have been in a downward spiral of going into a mental breakdown, and unfortunately that was through no fault of my own. It was the medication levels in my system, but I should have picked that up, but that's by the by. It's done and dusted, and I do have a meeting with the surgery to try and ensure that not only does it not happen to me, but it doesn't happen to anyone else, because as I said last week, I'm lucky. I've got a really, really supportive family. I've got amazing friends, and I do have a good support network. But there are people who don't, and I felt like I had to do something proactive to give those people a voice. I have referred myself for counselling again, because there are a few issues from my early years that really do need to be addressed and spoken about, and they've only just resurfaced themselves lately. And I think it's also had a lot to trigger this complete psychotic breakdown. But what I wanted to address was, and this is something that's really, really important to me, is I have been labelled as bitter, jealous, don't want to see anyone doing good, making good for themselves, because I've reacted in certain ways to certain situations. And I just want to say, for anyone that has complex mental health issues, and if they are not on the correct medication, and I mean, I've been guilty to this myself, because like when I'm fine, I sort of think, oh, well, do you know what, you've got to start helping yourself. But sometimes when we are so hurt and we are so damaged, our only way to react to something is to speak out. And sometimes those things aren't coming from a place of bitterness or jealousy or not wanting to see others do well. Sometimes those feelings and those reactions are coming from a place of genuine hurt, and I needed to address that. because I've been hurting a hell of a lot the past couple of weeks, and I have felt when I've spoken up, I've not been heard. So I have reverted back into that wall goes up, block everyone out, because, you know, people that I thought were my friends, people that I thought cared for me, have proved me wrong, and that's a hard pill to swallow. It really is, and that's sort of why I think I'm a little bit today, because again, medication levels aren't right in my system. I know that, and thankfully it's not as bad as having to start over and stop taking one, wait 6 weeks, start taking another. And so it won't take long to take maybe 3-4 weeks, possibly up to 6. But it's hurt me and really, really upset me that people I thought cared and people I thought were genuinely my friends and people I thought had my back haven't. And I probably haven't reacted in the most mature or grown-up ways, but it's like when you carry these childhood trauma things, if you do feel attacked or you feel somebody's coming for you, you just revert back into that childlike state and your walls will go up, and what comes out of your mouth, instead of saying, look, I can't deal with this at the moment, I'm really, really hurting, I've got a few things to sort out, we react in different ways, and it can manifest itself in anger, aggression, being over emotional, being oversensitive, and it's like trying to explain that to someone is really, really, really hard. It's one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do, because you just don't, like, I'm finding it really, really hard to get my words out now, because I am feeling pretty low and pretty tired, and I'm just feeling exhausted today. And, you know, I've done my sort of daily dues from business, I've checked in with the team, I've done my own bits of work for my own customers and that, and I've literally done the bare minimum, and I am feeling so tired and so exhausted, so I am going to have a break for the afternoon. See, this is what happens as well when, see, I'm going to do it now, going off on a tangent. This is what happens is you sort of lose your train of thought and you struggle to get your words out. So yeah, I just want to say that, like, over the past couple of weeks I probably haven't reacted very well to certain situations or gone about them in the most mature type of way. But I also want to make people realise that it wasn't coming from a place of bitterness or jealousy or somebody's doing better than me or something like that. It was coming from a place of genuine hurt and feeling that people who maybe should have had my back didn't have my back, and that didn't sit well with me. So and I've probably taken it a lot more personal than I should have done, because I have been feeling generally low. But I just sort of wanted to get that out there and just say, like, and I'm saying this probably isn't the same for me, it's probably the same for a lot of people who have mental health issues, that when they do react and say things, and a lot of people are far too easy to say, oh, well, they're not happy with themselves, they're just jealous, they're just hating on you because you're doing well and somebody else isn't. That's not always the case. And I think before people put that out there and before people say that to the person who has reacted badly, maybe ask the question, why have you reacted in this way? Is there something else that's bothering you? That's just a suggestion. So I'm just hoping if people from sort of both sides of the spectrum and I don't mean this personally to anyone, I just think if anyone from who's been on either side of that scenario, and it's not just, I'm not just talking about one scenario, I'm saying in general, like for anyone, if you know, you have a friend or you have a colleague who has reacted strangely, and your first thought is to think, oh, they're just jealous, they're just bitter because they can't do it. It's not always the case. So maybe have a little bit of empathy, and maybe ask the question, okay, I can see you're upset. Is this the only problem, or is there something deeper that's bothering you? That's all you have to say. And anyone who's thinking of overreacting, how I've stopped overreacting, obviously the past 3 weeks have not been a great example of that. They've been pretty much a fucking rotten example of telling how you really feel and reacting badly to situations. But I would say to anyone who's prone to overreacting, I don't know whether you can hear that or not, that Evan and the dog are playing downstairs, so there's lots of squeaking. If you have the capacity to be able to stop, take a deep breath, stand back before you react, then you're 50% of the way there to getting your voice out and your voice heard and what the actual problem is out. So that's just a little bit of a top tip. But yeah, I'm feeling a little bit today, and I just, it's a really hard, as I said before, it's a really, really hard feeling to describe. It's like a numbness, and a sort of, like, I can see the only way, and I remember describing this to my psychiatrist a good while ago, and the only way I could describe it is, it's like I'm bobbing along, and it's like the game, is it The Sims, where they have the little thing over their head, and it's like I'm that little thing over the head, and I can see myself bobbling along through the days, and it's like I'm on autopilot, and it's weird. It's just a strange feeling to have to describe to people, and I still haven't come up with a word for it yet. So, but yeah, that's this is day 5, and, or is it day 6? No, it's day 5. So yeah, it's not a bad day, but it's not a good day. It's just a day. So yeah, so I shall be back tomorrow to see how I'm doing, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.